Man, I will never, ever, ever get tired of that intro, let me tell you. We are back, ladies and gentlemen, for another fantastic episode of Pony Express Radio. Ryan, you are pulling double duty this week, so my hat is off to you, sir. But we'll get to that in a moment. We got Mr. Pete Quinones. I'm trying to pronounce it better now, but I just failed.
You always get it right.
Well, shame on me then. Yeah,
you must have been listening to
Charlie.
Yeah,
when you guys did with Charlie, Tom Woods is like, nope. So, well, there we go. Pete, you're back. How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Let's do it.
All righty. And Ryan, welcome to Pony Express. It's been a while since we had you on here, but you saw the list of stories this week, and you just insisted that you get a spot on this panel tonight because there's a couple economics ones that you really want to sink your teeth into, but we're glad to have you. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me. Unless my memory is faulty and I'm forgetting something, I think the last time that I was on, at least the more popular facing show was the election night stream, but I might be forgetting something.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, it's been a year. Maybe you came on like one in between, but it certainly hasn't been many. That's for sure. But we're happy to have you. Now, before we sink into some of our stories tonight, we have to keep the lights on over here, and we like to promote plenty of our friends. So, White Boy Summer has drawn to a close, sadly, but White Boy Winter is here, and White Boy Summer, of course, will be back again next year. It's an eternal White Boy Summer here at OGC. So head on over to Axios Remote Fitness and Coaching, where JD will get you absolutely shredded for the next year. So head on over there, link in the description. While you're at it, if you guys need to have a caffeine fix, head on over to Fox & Sons Coffee. Link is also in the description for all of you coffee drinkers out there. Everybody knows that I myself do not participate in the consumption of caffeine, but everyone who I've heard has tried Fox & Sons, has given it fantastic reviews. So everyone run on over, get yourself some Fox & Sons. One thing I do participate in, though, is the most masculine of nicotine products out there is Alp nicotine pouches. So everyone check in the description because we here at OGC are fans of big tobacco. So be sure to get your nicotine fix that way. And then, of course, our good friend, Mr. George Bagby over at Tall Man Books has a fantastic collection of books that he's been bringing back into print. And he is a good friend of the show and a great man with much knowledge on many historical topics. So head on over to Tall Man Books and pick up one-of-a-kind copies of some books that he's just bringing back into print that you can find nowhere else. So head on over to Tall Man Books. All righty. The theme for tonight's show, ladies and gentlemen in the chat, is we need to change the old phrase and the old adage that we've been hearing since 2015, 2016, when Trump came down that escalator of America first. Well, it's become more apparent now, more than ever, that phrase needs to be changed to Americans first. One would think that one would simply follow the other, but when we go through the stories tonight, oh boy, you'd be mistaken. So Americans first will be the discussion throughout the entire night's show. And why don't we just start right at the top with these clips that were going around with Trump doing a Fox News interview with none other than Laura Ingraham, who before this, I really didn't have like very strong opinions about her. I didn't really, think much of her. She's just another like buxom blonde they have up at Fox News, with a nice cross position right between her cleavage, like all the rest of them. But I got to tell you, she did a pretty good job on this one. Got to tell you, holding Donald Trump's feet to the fire on a couple of issues. Let's listen in on this first one.
Are not thrilled about this idea of hundreds of thousands of foreign students in the United States. We have about 350,000 Chinese. One point during COVID, you were going to, push to, get them out, but that was pulled back. You've said as many as 600,000 Chinese students could come to the United States. Why, sir, is that a pro-MAGA position when so many American kids want to go to school and there are places not for them, and these universities are getting rich off Chinese money?
Sure. Never said about China, but we do have a lot of people coming in from China. We always have, China and other countries. We also have a massive system of colleges and universities. And if we were to cut that in half, which perhaps makes some people happy, you would have half the colleges in the United States go out of business.
So what?
Well, I think that's a big deal.
Are they fans
You would have the
of the United States?
Yeah, but you would have, as you know, historically, black colleges and universities would all be out of business. You would have a system of colleges and universities.
So we're dependent on China to keep our university system going?
But I think it's good to have. I actually think it's good to have outside countries. Look, I want to be able to get along with the world.
They're not the French. They're the Chinese. They spy on us. They steal our intellectual property.
What, do you think the French are better?
Yeah.
Really? I don't know. I'll tell you, I'm not so sure. We've had a lot of problems with the French, where we get taxed very unfairly on our technology, where, you know, they put 25% taxes on American products. Look, assuming everyone treats us badly, because that's the way I am, but we take in trillions of dollars from students. You know, the students pay more than double when they come in from most foreign countries. I want to see our school system thrive, but at the same time, I know you and I disagree. We're never going to agree on it, but that's okay. And it's not that I want them, but I view it as a business. We have millions and millions of people. Also, I want to get along with countries if possible. You know, people are shocked. Remember, Hillary Clinton said, we'll be in a war. I stopped 8 wars in the last 9 months. I don't want to be in wars. If I am in a war, we're going to win the thing fast, and it'll be violent. But you know what? I don't want to be in wars. But one thing, you don't want to cut half of the people, half of the students from all over the world that are coming into our country, destroy our entire university and college system. I don't want to do that.
I wouldn't lose any.
And don't forget, MAGA was my idea. MAGA was nobody else's idea. I know what MAGA wants better than anybody else. And MAGA wants to see our country thrive.
Well, so we let that clip play very long because, man, oh man, did Trump just stick not one, but both feet in his mouth repeatedly in that entire clip. Just when you thought, like, oh, good quip by Laura Ingraham coming back and holding him to the fire a bit. And then there you go. Trump is just setting stuff on fire once again. I kind of love how she just agreed and amplified every single time, which is what I would have done if I was in this interview. She's like, I don't care. You know, let the universities burn. You think the French are better than the Chinese? Yeah, of course. I mean, we talked about this so much with Trump being an apparent and obvious boomer still, and still being caught up in all of the left-wing frames and the moral ground that we've been railing against on this show since the very beginning, and many other people like us have been as well. But this line about, like, oh, historically black colleges are going to go out of business, or, you know, I think one of the things I really hate the most about this world that we're living in, and like, obviously Conservative Inc. is completely trapped in this, that we need to have this multi-ethnic coalition, you know, this everyone is an American, every group of people is like this. You even heard Trump say this about, oh, you think the Chinese are better than the French, which is just so obviously false on so many levels. It's hard to even pick a specific spot. But let us not forget, I mean, the French are America's oldest ally, okay? They've been allies with us since the Revolutionary War, okay? Why is it that we are just going to throw away other, like, European and Western and other white countries' allies and throw it to the side for some other, like, multiracial, multi-ethnic coalition here? It's like, who fucking cares about the Chinese? The French have been our allies for 250 years.
It's a business. You heard him say it there. He looks at the country as like a business. That's not how we look at it. You know, every once in a while he'll pay lip service to the fact that, oh, America is for Americans. But when you look at it as a business, when you have this if you want to have a globalized economy, people are just another commodity. This is what I've been trying to say ever since I stepped out of the libertarian milieu. It's globalism, man. The free market is globalism. And that, what is if you own a business, most businesses, what's your biggest expense? Labor. You want the cheapest labor from where you can get it anywhere. And that is how anybody who's coming from the conservative movement, or who's bought into, you know, this neoliberal framing, it's all business, man. That's how China is more important than France right now. Because without China, well, I mean, can we even make weapons without China? I mean, he's being hyperbolic about the French, but he's not lying about China. I mean, we're not a sovereign nation because we can't even make our own weapons. We can't have our own defense industry. It has to come from somewhere else at this point. Parts have to come from somewhere else. I mean,
it's bad enough. It's bad enough to talk about the actual raw materials to create our own products, our own weapons. But you take it one step further in this, where they're making the implication about why we have to have these 600 Chinese students over here, is that, Americans just aren't capable of developing these kinds of technology anymore. We have to import all of these people. So it's like, not only do we not have the raw materials, but we don't even have the intellectual capital to build anything.
Right, and this is really a fascinating admission because the other side goes along with us every time it's advocated. If you look at the reason why the United States has a university system, especially the public universities and the land grants, the whole idea was was that Americans can be educated to a point where they can be productive, and that this investment in education would pay itself off, strengthen the country, provide a moral framework, and whatever else. Well, we've clearly lost the last one. No one expects the universities to provide a clear and good moral framework. That's a very antiquated notion. But we're also apparently dispensing with this very 60s liberal idea as well, that you can just create an educated and productive population. Like that's what's being admitted here, sort of on the meta level, which I find fascinating. It's unquestionable, because of course, and it's applied wrongly for reasons that are about to become clear. If you don't think that you can just educate a population into productivity and brilliance, what's the alternative? Like they're just fixed, and why are they fixed? So it's a very strange admission to where we've moved past this weird '60s paradigm that we had for the longest. But uh, yeah, this very idiotic idea of viewing this as an enterprise or a business as completely destroying the country, and it's not good for anyone either. So not just from Trump's perspective is this bad, because this base is going to be revolting against him over it, which it currently is. I've not seen any lower support for Trump basically since he was elected in previously as well. But it's bad for the university systems. The university systems continue to admit more and more students, and they can't handle it. It's long since been a place where it was just accepted you're not going to get an education. This was just a requirement. It's also not good for actually doing the purpose of the universities. We plainly said now that universities are not meant to elevate Americans. They're supposed to just provide a degree for Chinese people, I guess. The whole thing is a cluster, quite frankly.
No, it's really sad when Curtis Yarvin understands the university system more than Donald Trump does. Where he's like, we need tanks on Harvard Yard, and Donald Trump's like, well, we got to save it, and they come in here and they pay double. And I mean, I've talked about this before. When I lived in Auburn, like literally my whole street was Chinese. All of my neighbors were Chinese. They were all students at the university. When the Baptist church I went to down there, when they wanted to go to when they wanted to move locations, they sold the church to their Chinese Bible study that was meeting there. And I said, no, you're not selling it to the Chinese Bible study. You're China. Congratulations. People, no one gets this. No, I mean, even this fucker.
I think the thing that hurts me the most in this entire clip is the one that was right at the end when Trump said, MAGA didn't exist before me. I know what MAGA wants more than anybody. And it's like, well, we just have the admission right now from Donald Trump what he thinks MAGA is, in open contradiction to what he was saying in 2016 when he was talking about getting rid of the whole H-1B system even to begin with. People could go find his tweets about this. But to him, it's just like, I want to see America thrive, and MAGA means see Americans thrive, which is literally just GDP. That's it. Not Americans thriving. It's just America, the place. And a very sad thing, well, a sad irony kind of is, like the actual like Con Inc. boomers actually kind of 100% correct when they say like Trump doesn't have a racist bone in his body. I genuinely believe that, and it kind of sucks because even if you just had just a little bit of in-group reference, there's so many of these issues we just wouldn't be tackling with. Or maybe he's just completely like I don't know, it's like conditioned like a Pavlov's dog by just like the media attacks of all the years, just calling him like, Hitler and racist man 101. He's like, I just got to make sure I'm so not racist. It's unbelievable. I got to defend the historically black colleges. That extreme, home battleground for avid Trump supporters, those historically bad black colleges.
Once upon a time, the American right-wing president understood and knew that the professors were the enemy. And not only did he understand that, but he would tell it to the people around them, or around him. I'm trying to. Trump obviously knew Nixon he probably remembers most of that. I would be dumbfounded if the people around him aren't telling him that the university system is almost universally aligned against him. Is it really just that he has such a strong will to see the college profits go up? This is almost unthinkable that he would come out and say this. I don't understand what happened before this.
I think the number one issue that Trump has on the domestic front that he sees is just the national debt stuff and the economy. It's like, well, the only way we can fix this is by generating money. This is where like the gold card visa immigration stuff came from, where he was just selling U.S. citizenship for $10 million. People are like, oh, if you want to fork up some money, you can become a United States citizen. It's the same thing with like the tariff stuff. Wants to reshore and make some money here. Same thing with the colleges. It's like, oh, if we can make some money here, we'll do that. Offshore drilling. Same thing there too. It's just very consistent. It's like we do need. Well, here's the thing from our producer. I'll read in a second. It's like, obviously the United States needs to make money, and obviously we have to deal with our debt problem, and the economy is in the shitter, and people need good jobs and stuff like this. But it's like we can be selective here on what we're doing. It's like it's just not going to help. Anyway, here's a quote from Richard Nixon.
Are we supposed to pretend that the universities are good economically either? You just gave a very excellent explanation for most of Trump's other actions, but if it just, from all perspectives that could ever be around Trump, except for just an actual subversive working for another side. It seems like you would want the university system to be purged, go out of business. You'd have to stop paying for it, say on the state level. It's a dumbfounding that he would take this position.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement there. From Richard Nixon on December 14th, 1972. The press is the enemy. The press is the enemy. The press is the enemy. The establishment is the enemy. The professors are the enemy. Professors are the enemy. Write that on the blackboard 100 times and never forget it. Man, no true words were ever spoken, and they cooed him for it. Well, the clips of the Laura Ingraham interview don't stop there, ladies and gentlemen. We've got another one. Let's listen in.
Republicans have to talk about it, Laura.
And does that mean the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. We
have plenty of talented people here.
No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have. You don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles, or I'm going to put
How did we ever do it before?
Well,
I'll
give you an example. In Georgia, they raided because they wanted illegal immigrants out. They had people from South Korea that made batteries all their lives. Making batteries are very complicated. It's not an easy thing and very dangerous. A lot of explosions, a lot of problems. They had 500 or 600 people, early stages, to make batteries and to teach people how to do it. Well, they wanted them to get out of the country. You're going to need that, Laura. I mean, I know you and I disagree on this. You can't just say a country's coming in, going to invest $10 billion to build a plant, and going to take people off an unemployment line who haven't worked in 5 years, and they're going to start making missiles. It doesn't work that way.
I recommend you stop being such a faggot.
Now, I was talking about this before we went live, but I just love how the bottom left-hand corner, the Fox News logo has been changed to the military camo because it was Veterans Day when they were covering this, and just the subject of what they're talking about in this clip, right? It's like, oh, well, you know, everyone could just be, you know, it's Veterans Day, right? You know, we're here to celebrate an American holiday, but we're talking about in the clip where, well, anyone could just become an American. If you have a fake degree from some, you know, Chinese sweatshop or some Indian, you know, degree farm, you know, doesn't matter. You guys can come on over here. I'm sure that there is some extreme Indian genius underneath the mountains of shit and the piles of trash so high they have to put air traffic control beacons on top of them so planes don't drive into them. I am sure there is some Star Trek replicator level technology that's hidden under all that trash, and it can only be found if we just import all the Indians over here. God, this is so frustrating.
I mean,
something. Go ahead, Ryan.
I was just gonna say, imagine if there was like a system or a means to teach Americans how to do these complex things. I don't know what that would be called, but like that'd be cool. But then again, maybe we should just like throw a bunch of Chinese students at it instead.
This is something that not me, not you talks about all the time. Just the white man can basically learn anything in a month. As long as it's not like insanely outrageously advanced, you know, so throw him in. He'll figure out how to do it. And Trump is, I mean, I assume he's just surrounded by Jeets who are telling him, no, we got to bring these people in, and you know, or China, you know, bringing the Chinese spies that have surrounded so many of our politicians, and oh no, these people, they come right in, you plug them right in. Now, first of all, we know you don't plug Jeets in because there's diploma mills over there, and they don't know how to do jack shit. They basically, you know, look up online or go into chats to try to figure out. I mean, that's like basically how they quote unquote code.
They know how to throw shit.
Yeah, well, yeah, and you know, so you bring some Chinese people. I mean, somebody's just convinced him that, you know, white Americans can't do this shit. So if he's not sticking up for us, we'll get who, what.
Love the pushback that Ingram had on this one too, and it's just, yeah, very simple argument that anyone, it's so easy, even a caveman could make this argument, right? It's like, well, then how did we do it when we were kids? You know, it's like these two people right here are in their late 60s, 70s in this case with Donald Trump, and yeah, you guys grew up in an age where America was putting people on the moon, you know, for the first time ever, and it was all done with Americans and the help of some Germans. Well, it's like, I don't think we need to import a bunch of Chinese and Indians to do that. You know, the other thing that's just so chef's kiss about this is literally when we're having this conversation this week about importing all the Indians and all the Chinese. Did you guys see how one of the largest bridges in China just collapsed this week? This thing is like,
I saw.
Yeah, this thing is just giant. It's like stretching between two valleys, like the Golden Gate Bridge level size, and the thing just collapses. It's like, oh, really?
And not just that, like I saw like 3 other videos allegedly collapsing from China this week, which isn't surprising whatsoever. Something that I would like to get your guys' thoughts on, because this clip in particular vexed me ever since I came across it. Whenever the controversy was happening, it was infuriating. And I can't help but connect it back to Trump throwing his full weight behind Vivek in Ohio, as Vivek gets outflanked by the Democratic candidate on the subject of immigration, at least rhetorically.
Oh, that was so amazing. I mean, it really just goes to show you, number one, how just absolutely cold and cutthroat and calculating the left is at every turn. They just have no principles whatsoever. They do not care. They'll be for immigration one moment, but when they want to flank Vivek on something that they obviously know that the Republican base is divided on, they're going to flank him from the right and say, how dare you speak so poorly about Americans? They literally went back to the Great Christmas H-1B debate last year tweet. The tweet that's almost a year old now. The candidate went and found it. Oh my God. I really, really hope that she wins. I really hope that she wins that election.
Like, is this just like Trump or people around Trump causing him to purge his movement of anyone that isn't in the Vivek camp regarding immigration? Like, is that what's happening? It's hard to tell from the outside, but I'm just one person. If you guys have thoughts.
I don't know. I mean, I think because Donald Trump kind of just passes out endorsements like candy to literally everybody. I mean, how many times have he endorsed people like Lindsey Graham or even worse politicians who like have thrown Trump under the bus multiple times, but he just throws it out there. To tell you the truth, I don't really think Trump even thinks about Vivek that much, or many of these races, to be honest. I think he just throws it out there and says, "Oh, this guy's really great," and in hopes that it would just win or it would help the polls in that certain state. So I don't know if he's going to think that much about it. What I will say in general, though, is we were actually talking about this on Mr. D's Twitter space the other night. In the 2 months since Charlie Kirk's assassination, it has just become so obvious at this point that it was a huge blunder on all the Republicans' part, 100%, Donald Trump included, everybody. They dropped that thing like a lead balloon, did absolutely nothing as one of their top supporters and political activists was just shot in the face in front of his wife and 2 kids. And it shows something even deeper, that somebody who clearly had the president's ear and had his ear to the ground, so to speak, of the issues that the younger part of the base were really, really fired up about and cared about. It just seems that way to get into the White House died with Charlie Kirk. And it's a huge problem. I guess like the next closest person would be J.D. Vance, who has been counter signaling Trump a little bit on these topics this week. But I mean, the loss of Charlie Kirk it's particularly bad. It's really, really bad.
Well, I mean, I've heard people make the claim that Charlie may be the only one who is even pushing back on our greatest ally with him. We know he was pushing back on the bombing and, everything he was coming to, but I mean, who does Trump have around him that could possibly be doing this? They could possibly be saying, no, they don't get their way anymore. Or you have to ration out what you give to them. When I looked at Trump for this term, my thought was he's going to be as friendly to Israel as he was in the first. And I mean, I'm willing to put up with that just for the possibility that everything else would get done. I mean, I just didn't know that he was going to be full on knees dirty as he's been. And it doesn't seem like there's anybody there to push back on it.
I wrote a very optimistic article almost immediately after the election, and it's still on the OGC Substack. And I remember and it's still there in writing, I had cautious optimism just because I was hoping that sort of the coalition nature of his election, which seems to have just completely disappeared. It was very clear in the election and up to the point that he was elected that there were very explicit coalitions being built, and I was sort of hoping that would temper some of the dumber actions that he took in his first term. And I just that hasn't come to pass. I think the optimism was entirely misplaced on my part.
Oh, I mean, there's really nothing you could say that you can't beat yourself up for having optimism going into the administration, right? What I will say,
that's something that people who are terminally online are. It's like the people who go, you supported Trump and I supported Trump because you supported Trump. Now you have to apologize. What are you, my wife? Go fuck yourself, you little faggot. What's wrong with you?
And to be clear, I'm not apologizing for it or anything. It just in retrospect, looking at what I was hoping would happen, it just has not happened whatsoever.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think we can all say that the last 6 months have not been great, and the last 2 months in particular have been nothing short of just unmitigated disaster. It's been very, very bad for the last couple of months, especially after Charlie's death. Now, what we'll say this as well is at the top of this, I myself have more or less checked out of a lot of the stuff that's going on in the Trump administration. I was gone. I was out of the country for 3 weeks recently, as people know, and I had a lot of time to just kind of relax and not really, be tuned into everything. I recommend this for a lot of people, that every now and then you just need to unplug. So this stuff just doesn't like literally eat your brain. So it's always nice to have some R&R for people, but I have no doubt that over the next like 2.5, 3 years, how much time we have left, that there are going to be some things that Donald Trump does that I like. Okay. I have no doubt about that it'll happen. Whatever that is going to be remains to be seen. I also know there are a lot of things I'm not going to like that are going to happen. But what I absolutely refuse to do at this point in the game is to be, quote unquote, like trusting the plan and, pulling cover for all of the stupid things that Trump is doing, like particularly what's going on in this interview, like what some people are saying, like, oh, well, Trump has just got bad advisors around him. It's like, guys, the buck has to stop with somebody, okay? Like, this is just ridiculous. I mean, he's the politician. He's the guy that goes on all of the news media and everything like this. He's the guy who wants to be in the spotlight. He's the guy who wanted to come back the second time. The buck's got to stop with somebody. Okay, I'm not doing this kind of stuff anymore for another 3 years. Where we're like, oh well, if we just say it this way, and if we pull cover in this way, and if I say things in this particular time and place, things are going to get better, and we're going to get the voices up the chain of command stuff. It's like, just stop with all of this stuff. Okay, you need to take a break.
Yeah, the truthsters are just maniacal at this point. I mean, if somebody's, I mean, and you could see that on Twitter. I mean, the friggin' plan trusters,
see it every day.
They're turning on him. They're turning on him. Yeah, and it's, I mean, it's hard not to. I mean, we played a video where he literally was friggin' defending academia in this country. Like saying, oh, yeah, we want them to succeed. I want them to all burn.
It's like literally public enemy number one. Right up there at the top.
It's like, what did Thomas Sowell said once? He said, every bad thing that happened in the 20th century was devised by a man from Harvard. Why the fuck do I want to see Harvard in anything but ashes? I mean,
we're going to carry on here with some more very disappointing stuff. I mean, again, like I was saying, this week has been the absolute worst week for the Trump administration since all the Iran stuff, easily. This one has just been one stepping on a rake and hitting yourself in the face with the Three Stooges style after another this week, man. And we're going to get to a couple more of those in a minute here, but just like to stress once again about like this plan trusting stuff and everything. It's like, dude, if your life is that 100% consumed with Donald Trump being right and everything else going to be like the magic bullet theory that fixes everything for us, it's like that is, it's like the same people who are obsessed about like the Jays all the time on any issue, thinking they're hiding behind every single rock and every tree. Okay. You can't let Donald Trump completely control your life. You can't let the Jays completely control your life. You can't let race completely control your life. Okay. You guys got to go out and actually do some stuff in the real world. And you really just can't be obsessed with all the little details and the minutia of things. There's going to be things we like. There's going to be things we dislike. There's going to be times where we should go chimping. There's going to be times where we should be praising. People just need to have some very leveled heads about this stuff. And quite frankly, we need to start looking to the future. Okay. Trump is only going to be here for another 3 years. And I don't know about you guys, but I plan to be here for a very, very long time after these 3 years, not just in this whole space, but just in my life in general, right? My life is going to go on after Donald Trump is gone. And we need to start thinking about the future. We're talking about America first, the movement. Well, it needs to get changed into Americans first. Talked about this right at the start. Maybe that's somebody like J.D. Vance. Obviously, he's been lined up as the next successor to Trump. He's been saying some things that we do like this week. We'll see what happens. We got the midterms coming up next year. It's going to be an absolute bloodbath unless the Trump administration gets their head out of their ass and starts actually focusing on domestic issues that people actually give a shit about.
TB88 here in the chat makes a really good point. He says, the only foreign students at this point that Trump doesn't want are the anti-Semitic ones.
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah, I mean, the people have been kicked out of the country, like visiting students have been kicked out of the country for anti-Semitism, not open hostility to white people. Who's in charge? Who's in charge of the country?
Indeed. Well, just think about the list of stories right here, and it's like, man, oh man, which next horrible thing do we want to turn our attention to next, guys? Yeah, well, since we're talking about the midterms for next year, we have to talk about domestic issues. One of the things that is the most important issue for everybody on the domestic front is the extreme spike and high cost of living as it relates to purchasing and buying homes in the United States. This has been something we've been talking about for months and months and months on this show. There's many people in the audience, many people in the OGC broader network in general who are struggling to buy their first homes, of course. So what do we have is the great shining solution from the Trump administration this week. And I just couldn't believe this. When I saw this on President Trump's Truth Social, I could not believe this was a thing. It's like, this might be the most boomer tweet ever made. It's certainly up there. Great American presidents, the 30-year mortgage by President FDR. And now we've got the announcement from the Trump administration, the 50-year mortgage. I'm sorry, but
that is literally that's the most Jewish thing I've ever heard.
I know.
Sorry.
I was just about to say, Pete. It's like we're reaching levels of usury not foreseen, never thought possible before. 50 years.
Like you don't want to spend half a century like with a financial instrument barely maybe getting to have a home. Like that doesn't sound appealing.
Okay, here's the other
20 million deportations. Best I could do is add 20 years to your mortgage. I mean,
do you know what's even more crazy about this? Okay, it's like to the casual observer, right? You might be thinking, oh, okay, maybe a 50-year mortgage might be something reasonable for, a giant ass mansion or something like Donald Trump lives in or something like this, or maybe some commercial real estate or something that you're going to be paying, tens of millions of dollars for, or even more. Why don't we put that on a 50-year mortgage? It might make sense. No, we're literally talking about 50-year mortgages for 2-bedroom homes. What is this bullshit? What are we even talking about here? It's like, oh yeah, the family of 3 that are in their early 30s who are just trying to get up that ladder so they can actually have a good American life. Like people always said, love how these boomers always talk about, oh, I want to have my kids grow up so they can have it better than what I had it, right? Here we go. The 50-year mortgage. Which I saw people defending this too, which I just absolutely couldn't believe.
Why
you
not
saw
75?
people defending it?
Oh yeah. We were talking about some of the
Plan
shows earlier. Oh yeah.
Plan Troosters, yeah.
I couldn't believe
So
that.
I specifically tried to follow this, and I couldn't find people defending it. There were plan trusters defending the 50
Oh yeah. Well, what's even crazier is that there were some people. So here's some RedHawk lore for people. Okay, so I actually worked as a mortgage underwriter for a couple of years. Okay, so I know quite a bit about this industry, right? There are actually people out there who were trying to defend this, number one, and number two, don't even know that you could do like not even 5 seconds of math on this one to just show how absolutely ludicrous this is. People can do this right now. All right. Here's a tip for everybody. You can go Google right now an amortization schedule for your mortgage. Okay. It'll take you 5 seconds to do. And you plug in your numbers and the difference between a 30-year and a 50-year mortgage. People think like, oh, yeah, your monthly payment is going to be down a little bit. Well, guess what? You're not going to be making pretty much any payments down on the actual principal of that loan for the first 10 to 15 years of that. So you're literally going to save a grand total of like $2,000. Like that's it over like the course of like a 50-year mortgage over the 30. Like this is just, oh my God.
I said that today, like the first year, the first 12 payments, $1 each payment is going to go towards
An interesting thing about this as well, at least according to the Federal Reserve, is that like as the time of the mortgage increases, so does the rate as well. So not only is it going to be a 50-year mortgage, but if like the pattern holds, it's also going to have a higher rate attached to it as well. Which, I mean, I don't know. It sounds Levantine to me. This scheme. So something,
that's a good way of putting it.
So something I really wanted to talk about this slightly more in depth. I know this is not like the ultra in-depth stream, but it was I'll be brief. There's a lot of people that correctly pointed out that if you deported the people that should not be here, obviously the demand for housing goes down, as so does the price. That's a very basic inference. Everyone's correct on that. There's other reasons to do that as well, regardless of just this housing and economic thing. But this is something that I really wanted to hammer, is that this is not like, that's not just going to fix the whole thing, because the way that the current system is working, mostly put into place by boomers and the people that came just right before them, if I remember correctly, is that even if we had like a perfectly homogenous country, only of Americans, only the people that should be here, if the population continues to increase, like we all have our prosperous families, they have children, and it keeps going, the population grows, we're bountiful. The current system is ordered in such a way that like the house price is supposed to continue towards infinity because that's what the boomers want on their balance sheets. That's a great way for them to have wealth. The price of their property continues to increase. That's their savings or anything else that they would ever need. This is not how it is actually supposed to be. If you saw in any other market that the price just keeps continuing to infinity, regardless really of like what the population is doing, this has been a trend for a long time now, and it's embodied in the meme that everyone shares, where it's like the boomers got their houses for $10,000 or something obscene. If you saw any other market, the price just continues to trend towards infinity, you would think something is terribly wrong there, and you would be correct in your assumption. So it's not necessarily just that we need to deport millions of people, even though that needs to happen and it would help. Like the whole thing needs to fundamentally come down and reform, just because even if we got everything we wanted saved for fixing the policies around housing and say money printing, we're just kicking the can down our road to our own children, which is I find that at least to be objectionable.
Thy name is Boomer, Ryan.
so check this out. I had a mutual on Twitter send me this today. He said, I was researching the percentage of investor-owned properties in my neighborhood and adjoining subdivisions as well. I was looking at a relatively new development, 2021 to present, a mile down the road, and the data is borderline shocking. There are 463 homes in this development, which was built in several phases. The initial phase was larger, multi-story homes. The owners' names were 40% of Indian origin, which seems like a lot, but this development is across the street from a tech hub campus with 4,000 employees, so I could see it being a relative outlier versus population locally. He gives it's a average size city, which is 4% Asian. This was the case for the first two phases, 40-60 split. Then it flipped to 60-40 for two phases, then 80-20, 80-20, 90-10. Overall, across 460 homes, 61% are owners with Indian names. All these homes were built during the rate hike cycle, and I was just baffled that anyone could afford them, especially the latter phases, which are 2,000 square feet homes, almost row homes, even though they are physically separated by a few feet. Was this just some kind of fraud mill property scheme? Just unbelievable. Even these smaller homes were going for 350 to 400. To top it off, it's basically a ghost town. They added almost 500 homes at this one intersection, and there's been no noticeable uptick in traffic or people walking the neighborhood or cars on the street. I'm dubious anyone actually lives there, to be honest. You see this stuff on Twitter and think it's probably not that pervasive, and then bang, it's right down the street from you.
Wild. I mean, just so it shows you how much of our economy is just 100% fake. It's just so crazy. So like, yeah, the solution here, number one, like thinking like, oh yeah, we're just gonna have infinity growth, like Ryan was talking about, for a 50-year mortgage. It's just like in any other time in history, people would not view, the house as your main asset of how you're just gonna make it big in the world, just because like the price just gets inflated into oblivion.
Well, it's post 1973. 1973, you go off the gold standard, and I just did an episode today where I was talking about how in 1973 the average price of an existing home was $29,800. Now the average price of an existing home is $432,000. That's basically a 15%, 15 times increase, but the median income has only increased 5 times. And then you look back at 1973 and you're like, well, and only one parent was working at the time.
Well, you see, Pete, you're just lazy. Like that's the solution here.
I'm just lazy. I expect to get stuff for free. Just like Ben Shapiro said on the Trigonometry podcast, you get stuff, you're lazy. If you have a problem, get on a train and go somewhere else. Oh yeah. But when Israel needs money, you stupid motherfucker, then you better shut the fuck up and give it to them, or else you're anti-Semitic. This is do you realize we are just, this is an occupied country where people will literally get up there and call you and say, you're a socialist if you want something for free. How dare you want to live where your ancestors lived, where your ancestors are buried? Oh, but I don't even live in this country over here. But motherfucker, when that country needs money, you better fucking dish it out, or else you're an anti-Semite. What a piece of shit that motherfucker is. All of them. Not every friggin' one of them, but all the ones who talk like this, and they're just, the Mark Levins of the world. We don't have a country as long as they're here. As long as they have power. As long as they have influence.
It's so maddening, because not just with these subversive characters like you're talking about, Pete, but the kinds of people that should be helping the youth. I forget who said this, but it's a fantastic quote. It's like, the old should only ever exist to help out the young. And it's like, it just gets right to the meat of it right there. It's like
that's history before basically countries became financialized.
Yeah.
As soon as countries became financialized, hey, son, you're on your own. Fuck you. I'm going on a cruise.
It's just so frustrating and such a joke, especially as, a millennial who's trying to get into the housing market. It's the same thing that so many of us have talked to. Every single person in the chat, if you're around our age, can talk about this, and so many people were just like this, that they were just maybe 1 or 2 years away from getting in on the market, and then it went away from them again, and it crept up again. It's like, oh, maybe 2 more years I could do it. It's like, nope. It's just constantly like the rug is being pulled out from under you just to even get a start, man. Just to get a start. And then the other people who are allegedly on our side in this movement, the conservatives, the right wingers or something, they just have it wrapped up in their egos so much that they were just some financial wizard and financial genius, and they worked super hard, and it had absolutely nothing to do with the fact that they got in when labor was expensive and land was cheap. It's just got to be
the country was white.
Yeah, exactly. It just has to be that the millennials and the Zoomers are just unique in all of human history as being the laziest people who have ever set foot on the entire planet. It's like, I'm sorry, but the new statistics just came out 2 weeks ago. Okay, 5% of Americans age 30 are married and live in a home. It's like that is not systemic like laziness amongst people. That's just not.
And despite this apparent laziness epidemic, somehow like labor productivity continues to skyrocket every year. It's fascinating.
Well,
to
it's
me.
all those people we keep importing, Ryan. They're going to work those jobs that Americans won't. You know?
Right? Yeah, that's what the that's what the statistics bear out on things like security and welfare and all of that. It's something that I would really like to emphasize here. Really very intimately linked to this anti-boomer sentiment, which is entirely justified. If you are a heritage American, you don't have anywhere else to go once the country has been looted, burned, and whatever else. Like you are here. If you genuinely are a heritage American, you believe in it. Like I'm sure many of us do, especially those in the OGC itself. You can't tolerate not only just like getting your thing right now while the rest of the country burns around you. It would be like telling an Englishman that like you'll be happy with this like small pittance, the equivalent of a 50-year mortgage, while the entire country gets destroyed, salted, and burned around you, bought up by outsiders and whatever else. I feel like many people, even those somewhat close to us, have not internalized that we aren't an economic zone. We can't just flee if, say, the boomers loot the country to death, die off, and then leave us with the ashes. We can't just go somewhere else. It's not how it works. We're tied here.
It's so true, Ryan. I mean, the thing is just a never-ending source of woe for me when dealing with these people. Is again, it's that same thing that everyone internalizes, that I want my kids to have it better than I did. It's like, okay, prove it. just prove it, and don't try and fight the youth on every single issue. When they're talking about the troubles that they're facing in this economy, in this market. It's like just I don't think that heritage Americans are just sitting on the couch and asking for a handout here. They're not. What they want is a country that actually works for them, a system that should work as everybody else on the entire planet has a country that works for them and for their people, and ours just doesn't. No, that's not like sitting on your couch and acting entitled and, being super lazy and being ungrateful or something like that. It's just, we just want what is actually ours. It was given.
No organism can be healthy when it's riddled with parasites. All of your nourishment, all of your wealth, everything is being taken from you. I mean, that's just it. People come here and they use this, like how some people have gone to other nations to work, or like we have military contractors that go overseas, and some of them actually end up doing merc work in Africa and everything, and they basically get paid by some warlord there to make sure that the friggin' water keeps the water keeps coming out of the faucets, and then they come back here. We have a whole country full of millions of people who are doing that right now. Not only that, we have representatives of another nation who basically, if they couldn't rape our economy, rape our tax system, and get all these government, get the government to send, they wouldn't exist. They wouldn't, or they'd have to figure something else out. They'd have to use that famous high IQ to figure out how to do it themselves. But it seems the only thing that they can use that famous high IQ for is to rape us. And in many cases, like Jeffrey Epstein, literally raping our kids.
Shall we talk about the next grand idea from the Trump team to help the struggling youth with their financial woes? Ryan, I knew you were jumping at the bit to get a hold of this story. So why don't we talk about the $2,000 stimmy checks that are about to come our way from the tariffs? First of all, I'll believe it when I see it. Number one on this one. Before I read this, the other thing I will say, just at the very start of it, is like we talk about all the time about how we actually need some client patronage networks going on here on the right. I mean, this is honestly just like what the Democrats do. So it'd be one thing if you were to say that, oh, this is just purely for Machiavellian voting purposes, that, I'm literally just going to pay people off to vote for me. Okay, that'd be one thing. But, playing this off as, oh, this is how Americans are going to get rich and how we're going to profit off of the tariffs and everything like this is by giving everybody who makes less than 100 grand a year $2,000. I'm very, very skeptical. But let me read this Truth Social post here, and then Ryan, I will unleash you like the dogs of war on this one, because I know you're going to have quite a bit to say. From President Donald J. Trump's Truth Social account, people that are against tariffs are fools. We are now the richest, most respected country in the world. Yeah, respected my ass. With almost no inflation. And a record stock market price. Fuck you. Nobody, the youth can't even afford stocks to begin with. 401ks are the highest ever. Fuck boomers. We are taking in trillions of dollars and will soon begin paying down our enormous debt. It's $37 trillion. Record investment in the USA. Plants and factories going up all over the place. A dividend of at least $2,000 a person, not including high-income people, will be paid to everyone. Ryan, this sounds like a great idea, doesn't it? Come on, just giving people some money right into their pockets. Surely the American people are just going to invest this in high-yield savings accounts and maybe get in on that stock market that is at an all-time high.
Yeah, I mean, like, we all feel this, right? We're the richest, most respected country right now. I'm sure everyone here on the panel feels that way currently. I mean, I know I do. Wanting to buy a house before I turn 50, I'm really feeling the greatest economic administration of my life right now. But every single person complains about rising prices, and there's underlying reasons for that, but we don't really need to go into it. What happens if you just give every single person in the country $2,000, minus a tiny minority above the cutoff? Well, they don't.
I'm raising my hand, Ryan. Buying a lot of Air Jordans.
I bet that's probably going to be a lot of it. That's and just if you'll indulge me just ever so slightly in the economic part here. We get this money out of thin air. We don't just have this money because we decided we were going to save more, consume less, produce more, or anything like that. We didn't actually do much productive. At the very least, though, for some of this at least, I hope it wasn't confiscated from us to begin with. Hopefully, some foreign entity. So it's less destructive than it could be. But we suddenly get all this money, and everyone's probably going to spend it. That's what happened in the last few stimulus checks that happened. That's why they usually get called stimulus checks, is because you go and spend it. That's what they're planning on you doing. When everyone suddenly decides they want to purchase something at the same time, what happens to the price? It goes up. So we haven't actually produced more. We've taken money, in the best possible case, we've just taken this money from foreigners, fine, whatever, and we're just going to give it to everyone in the country, and we're going to consume a lot, and the prices are going to go up. Does this solve anything? No. Is this bringing manufacturing back if we just have this one-time injection of $2,000? Likely not. I doubt many of us are going to buy goods that go directly to the manufacturing sector. I imagine that's not going to happen. And if it is used to say the Jordans, I don't think that we're manufacturing those here. Though I could be mistaken. Maybe that's some esoteric knowledge about footwear that I don't know. And it kind of just makes me ask, what are we doing? The whole campaign promise surrounding the economy was that we were going to undo the things making it more difficult to live. We're going to bring down food prices. We're going to make housing cheaper and whatnot else. All this stuff that is actually plaguing young Americans. And in the same, I think this was the same day, maybe one day apart from the mortgage announcement. We just get told we're going to get a bunch of
Yeah,
band-aids. In
this was
all
the day
likelihood,
after. This is the day after
yeah,
the mortgage stuff. So
yeah. So the day after the mortgage, which, as we have discussed at length, did not solve any problem, and in fact threatens to exacerbate it by allowing more people to purchase homes who shouldn't be here, and these homes keep rising to infinity in price. This isn't solving any of the cost of living problems. You're just giving people a one-time check basically to go spend immediately, because once again they haven't changed their behavior or their ethics or whatever. They're just going to spend it like they would if they got $2,000 anyways. So we're just we're just telling the young people, like, the boomers are giving us like a pittance, like, here's some $2,000. Hope this helps. You can live comfortably now, and that's even if we get in the first place, because the Secretary of the Treasury was throwing out ideas about how this might be an indirect $2,000 stimulus. Maybe we'll lower some taxes or whatever. This whole thing just infuriates me to no end. The mortgage and this, like a 1-2 punch. We're just really going to say, like, screw the youth, screw anyone trying to live here. You heritage Americans who have been here for generations, you don't actually have a you don't get to just live here like your ancestors did. We're going to keep squeezing you in terms of cost of living. We're going to keep squeezing you on the real estate market. But here's $2,000. Go have fun with it. I'm apoplectic, and I'll stop there. I'll just keep going otherwise.
yeah, I think one of the things that that boomers and a lot of older people in this country really just don't understand about the financial situation and about like the psychology it kind of does to people who aren't very well off in these financial positions. You guys know like those financial audit like clickbait videos that one like broccoli haircut guy, that Caleb guy with his glasses, do you guys know that guy? They make the rounds on Twitter all the time where he finds like some millennial person who's like 100 grand in debt or something for stupid spending habits or something like that. You guys know what I'm talking about? Yeah, people
Yes.
like that probably
Yeah.
do. Yeah. So I think what a lot of people don't understand is that, people say like, oh, well, $2,000. Well, why don't you just invest that? Why don't you just, start saving up for something? And it's like, well, if you're in the position of like most Americans, where what's the average now? It's like the average American is something like $15,000 in debt or something. When you take in like things like college, student loan debts and credit card debt and something like that, it's like, when just the average person in your country is in debt, okay, they just see themselves as not having any way out of their situation whatsoever, that they aren't going to take this $2,000 to, which is really not going to dig them out of the hole they're in literally at all. And they're just going to go and find some kind of reprieve from their woes. Also, this is what people talk about. Like, oh, the $2,000, I'm going to go buy a big screen TV. So at least I can, have a little bit of entertainment in my life. Or I'm going to go to the bar and I'm going to buy some liquor or something, It's like people use these $2,000 for sedation because that's the position that they're in. It's like trying to tell somebody that this $2,000 is they're going to be their path to climbing up the ladder and shaking the boss's hand and getting their way up to, middle class lifestyle. Which, by the way, the other thing here that's just so preposterous is that 100 grand is now like, dude, that's like middle class now. Like, if you make 100 grand a year, it's like, what are you talking about? That, when we were kids, that was like the high end to go for. But our money's just been so inflated away at this point that, what, you think 100 grand makes you rich now? Are you out of your mind?
And it's worth pointing out that our entire conversation to this point assumed that, like, Americans will be the only one getting it. We haven't had the
That's a good point too.
the mass population transfer that we've hoped for, so it's not just going to be us getting it. There will be a lot of this money, should it materialize, by the way. That's also on the table. Like, it just doesn't happen. But if it does, we aren't the only ones that are going to be getting it. This is a massive help, I'm sure, for that group. But the actual people that are the core of Trump's base, like, screw you, I guess.
Yeah, I think all of this, everything just comes back to high trust versus strip mall. At one time, not very long ago, we had a high trust society. In 1973, 83% white, 11% black. I mean, brought him here, kind of, maybe killing Lincoln was a bad idea because, he had some plans, but still 83%. And what happened? Now 30% is over 30% of the country is from everywhere else in the world. And you have to ask yourself, especially in the last 10 to 15 years, 20 years, how many of them came here or just here for the check? They're just here to make the money and send it home. I remind people, remittances from the United States back to India are 4% of their GDP.
Yeah.
High trust versus a strip mall.
It's like that great tweet that Charlemagne had where the United States government has finally found something they don't want to tax. It's foreign remittances. Unbelievable. Boy, this is a depressing stream today. There's just no good topics whatsoever, and we haven't even gotten to the Israel one yet, which we will shortly after we catch up on these super chats. So let's go through some of them real quick, and then we'll get to the other thing. It really just was this week. It was just amazing how it literally just like 6 days in a row, it was a new story every day. It's like, how could it possibly get worse? How could it possibly get more terrible? What kind of bad suggestion are they going to make again today? Surely they're going to turn around at least a little bit and give us some red meat or something. And it's like this Israel document comes out earlier today. It's like, holy shit. To our super chats from our fantastic listeners, we got Christopher Burks, he's the first one. I see Solid Snake is number 2, but he snuck in before you, Solid Snake. He sends us a salute and $2. Thank you very much, sir.
Real Americans.
I like that. Thank you, Patton. Real Americans indeed. All right. Solid Snake 1964 for $10 says, evening gents. One of, if not the only upside to all us heritage Americans being sold down by the river by the admin and conning is that we finally know who's really on our side and not. God willing, these people will be held accountable someday, and real Americans will take their places. Salute.
Main focus on the
hope.
conservatives. They need to go. They all need to go. Every single one of them.
Thank you, Mr. Fahrenheit. I didn't know you stuck into the stream. God, we got the best producer, don't we, folks? All right. Well, thank you, Solid Snake. And yes, hopefully someday justice will indeed be served. So TK for $10 says, salute, gents. Amongst old ex-posts just got popped for hateful conduct, simply noticing that people got banned for calling out H-1B Indians. Twitter is enemy territory again. Huh. Interesting. Well, keep your head on a swivel out there, guys.
Real Americans.
Real Americans, indeed. Dawn Browning, the only woman in the chat, for 20 Australian bucks, as she sends us every week, has a super sticker, and this time it's a cartoon woman, or cartoon woman, I should say, whose ponytail flies up into a heart, and her eyes light up like stars. Thank you, Dawn Browning. We greatly appreciate it. Bolero 393 for $10. God, this guy's an old head. He's been around since the AA days. For $10. We may not be engaged in a war, but other countries are waging war on us by non-military means like espionage, IP theft, and elite replacement. Trump, for all his strengths, is still just a boomer. Yep. Very true. I mean, this wasn't even a thing we discussed during the Chinese thing. It's like just all the intellectual property theft. And did you guys see this at the University of Michigan? They've now arrested something like 6 to 10 Chinese students for smuggling in bioweapons and viruses into the University of Michigan labs. It's like they're literally just importing weapons so they can experiment on them in our universities with our technology. It's like, what the fuck are we doing?
After the events of the last 6 years, I could never have predicted that happening.
Unbelievable, man. It's just, can we just have a little bit of in-group preference? Like just a tiny bit. just at least being on the radar, Unbelievable. Cringe Walker. Hope he's feeling better. I know he's been battling the flu recently, but for $10, he says, I love being living proof that Americans have talent and they can learn that talent in mere weeks. Damn right. Man's a mad scientist. In a just world, Cringe Walker would be paid a boatload of money in gold, wheelbarrows full of gold for the things that he does. Quite an intelligent man, to say the least. Someday when we win, my friend, all the government grants are going to you. Get a big giant Frankenstein mansion, madhouse for you. TK for $5 again. 11th grade Americans with summer coding camp outperform undergraduate third worlders with computer science degrees, including half mestizos in the 11th grade. Really? Huh? I mean, I believe it. I totally believe it. Now it's like, I believe in Americans. I've seen what my people can do. It's like, it just cannot be stressed enough that we are all we need and we're all we have. It never gets old. Never gets old. Semper Credula for $5. Hey, they're right that AI is taking our jobs. It just happens to stand for an Indian. So horrible. It's like the other thing too. It's like, oh yeah, the AI is going to come in and sweep all of our jobs away. Let's just keep importing more and more people. Come on, guys. The jobs aren't going to be here, but we really just need to, import all these people so they can build the device that's going to take away all the jobs. And what are we going to do with all these people once we're here? Nah, we're just going to keep them. We're already struggling enough to deport people as it is. It's just so wild. At least the one silver lining is that JD Vance was talking about how we don't need any more Americans being naturalized, period. So at least we've got that. Zenrath for $15 says, if Trump wants to run America like a business, just be an entrepreneur and found a true international college and let the interlopers study there. This way of doing things only makes sense if we are trying to play within the ways have always been done. We need to create better things. That's a good point. Yes, indeed. No objections. City Breakdancer Man, one of the most hilarious super chatters in our audience. Yeah, beep. I can hear him breakdancing now. Sends us a salute. Thank you very much. Maple Copperhead for $5. The plan has always been us, join or die, know your neighbors, and hold fast. Here. Get involved. Join an Old Glory Club chapter today. They're popping up all over the place. Seasider sends us $10 and a salute as he does every week. Thank you very much, sir. That Seasider wing of OGC headquarters, will be constructed one day. So,
real Americans.
He is a real American, absolutely. Paulie B for $20. Bill Clinton was the first black president. Obama was the first foreign president, and Trump is the first Jewish president. Oof. Aramig Discourse for $10. This $10 was promised to the OGC 2,500 years ago. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Why don't we just get 2,000-year mortgages at this point? It's like, why does it even matter? The other thing we didn't really make a comment about this though is that in normal times, but just because like our economy's just been so financialized and so riddled with debt across the entire board, the people are like paying for Domino's pizzas on credit and debt at this point. So just like in normal times, just the banks would never be like so brazen and confident in a position to do that. It's like 50-year mortgage. They're just making so much on all these interest payments that everyone has.
Well, vigilantism is looked down upon.
Yeah, very good point. Hey, it's so horrible too because we got Christmas season coming up, and I don't know about you guys, but the classic Christmas movie that I always watched in my house was It's a Wonderful Life, right? It's like, oh, great big plot in the movie is that we're gonna forego our honeymoon. George is gonna go to the bank and use his own money to make sure that the bank isn't taken over. Just imagine that these days, man. Does anyone hold bankers in high esteem and high regard whatsoever? Does anybody think about their communities in such a way like that? bygone age, man. Moving on to cringy once again for $10. Cyberpunk 2075 Plan Trooster bot 3354 has finally sent his final payment for his 2020 pod or 20 by 20 pod. He rests and mutters in an 11 Labs provided voice. Finally, I can get married. Oh no, so horrible.
It's amazing to me that Cringy can just like write out his outline for a dystopian fiction novel and
So horrible.
just like and fit it into a super chat.
So terrible. It's like as bad as my buddy Ryan Stone when he wrote in his dystopian science fiction novel that in the future Google is going to own all the appliances in your house and it's going to make you watch an ad just so you can use your fucking toilet. So bad. Chansey sends us $55.10. An interesting denomination for a super chat. Well, thank you very much, sir. We greatly appreciate it. You, sir, are a real American. Let's see. Years ago, American journalists would scoff at how fake the Chinese economy was, how it was all ghost cities and bridges made of garbage. Now it's our economy. That's entirely fake. Houses of cardboard and ultra-thin wood. Incredible. That's the other thing we didn't even talk about is like, just look at the material that these houses are built with today. And it's like they're held together with like, you know, straws and toothpicks. And somehow they're still like $500,000. You know, it's not the actual appliance. It's not the actual house. It's not the grade of the house. It's not the fact that it's got a fridge. It's not the fact that there's a TV in it or any of these other bullshit arguments that boomers want to give to you and say, it's like, well, when I just had my first house, you know, we had basically nothing in it. It's like the houses are literally like $500,000. What planet are you living on? And they break every 5 seconds. Unbelievable. Imagine my lack. Here we go. Just feeding it right into the next super chatter. Imagine my lack of shekels for $15. And he says, this 50-year mortgage scheme has more wrinkles than the forehead of that lady who interviewed Sydney Sweeney. Oof. I've got $700 in equity and just 550 more payments to go. You'll own nothing and be happy. Man, oh man. Again, I just couldn't believe that people were defending this stuff. And it's just really, really basic math on this one. Like, come on, guys. Just look past the first thing you see at the front of your face that is like your monthly payment. Unbelievable.
I find it hilarious as well that the plan trusting on that specific post also implies that you really like FDR. Like,
oh,
is
yeah.
there a single person still around that likes FDR and Trump together?
Christopher Sandbach.
Okay. We found out one.
Yeah.
The single. I asked for a single person. I got it.
Alrighty. Moving on here to Chief Slinging Beef for $5. My plant is top 5 in all metrics in rural Tennessee and 1 in rural Michigan. Both are 95 plus white. Corporate always says, wow, how do these places do so well? Who would have thought? But those Americans, you know, we got to get those foreigners to work in those factories, man. Those Americans, they're just not doing as well. Pete Budapest for $2. Is we getting a tariff check? Dead ass. I mean, I guess I'll say this on the other front too. It's like, listen, guys, like if you're gonna get it, just if you qualify for it, just take it, man. You know, there's our guys just need every little bit that they can. I don't know. Go buy some Nike stock. It'll shoot up real quick right afterwards. Jonathan Burston for $2. Would you recommend leaving the cities? I mean, I hate these. I hate these kinds of questions. You know?
Yeah, I had a conversation about this with Thomas this past weekend when we were hanging out up in the Pacific Northwest. You know, he doesn't want people abandoned in the cities, but I mean, even he makes the point that if you're going to stay there and fight for the cities and you're going to have a family, it's going to be really, really hard. You know, I mean, having a family, you know, if your goal is to, you know, do some kind of we need to take the cities back because they're centers of power, they're centers of culture, whatever it is. That may be a single man's job.
I mean, that's certainly true. I mean, for $2 super chat, like asking like one of these like life altering kinds of questions, right? It's like, come on, man, you gotta have a little bit more frame for your own life, basically, right? I mean, it's like, I don't particularly care for cities. I acknowledge that there are a lot of opportunities for people in them for career choices, maybe not for finding a mate, but it's just, it's tough no matter where you go, man. And there's advantages and disadvantages to all of them. I mean, my recommendation to everybody is just no matter where you go, you got to find your people. And we here at the OGC, we have people everywhere. So that's the most important place to start. Sean Weiland, our financial genius in the chat for $2, says financial nihilism. All that's left is gambling. Well, that's going up too. Well, Lindy Man has been tweeting about this quite a bit. Is the outbreak of as more and more sports betting and sports gambling is legalized across all the states. Actually, all the professional sports people are getting involved. There are just 2 baseball pitchers for Cleveland that were just banned from the MLB because they were fixing their pitches, to make tens upon tens of thousands of dollars on these gambling apps. I'm actually seeing now that your sports betting apps, they're actually becoming full-blown casinos on your phone because these things are making so much money. It's a slot machine you can literally hold in your pocket at this point. It's like, oh yeah, I'm here to do a $5 parlay on the basketball game. While I'm at it, sitting in commercials, I'm going to do a couple of spins on the slot machine while I'm at it. I tell you, man, that is one of the things I regret voting for the absolute most on my record. That is a really, really bad stain on my record for sure. Ugh. Machiavelli sucks. Being white is great. For $5. We need to stop giving grants to Indians and Asians. Well, yeah, I mean that's just obviously true. Mikey for $20. $2,000 dues after rent being on average $1,750 and the average monthly grocery bill is $240 a month. At least we all get $10 to invest. Yep. That's how you start, guys. Just keep squirreling that $10 away and go work your job at McDonald's, and you too can be a middle class American, with a wife and kids and a white picket fence.
Yeah, make your coffee at home, and one day in 4,000 years, maybe your 10th descendants will be able to purchase a plot of land that's the size of an office desk.
Hey, maybe they'll have generational mortgages by then.
But hey, at least your descendants, who are living in squalor, will be able to look back and look overseas and see just how much you did for that country, Israel, and how 1,000 years from now, Jesus still hasn't come back.
You can always hold your hat up high and be proud of yourself, knowing at least I didn't betray my principles. Not grim.
Main focus on the conservatives. They need to go. They all need to go. Every single one of them.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President Fahrenheit. I like that clip. Very good. Not grim for $2. Financial nihilism. All that's left is gotcha. Yeah, like Mr. Weiland was pointing out earlier. Pete Budapest for $5. I think it's pretty obvious that the usual suspects are using last week's election losses as leverage on Trump. Listen to us or lose your presidency. I mean, that's obvious. A lot of people are doing that. Unfortunately, it's all the wrong people that are doing that, because they were the ones that put all these limp dick wristed diversity candidates up in all these districts. And of course, they got their asses handed to them, which was obvious to literally anybody who's paying attention, except for the traditional conservatives. I hope Vivek gets absolutely fucking curb stomped next year into the dirt. He could be buried under 6 feet of poo afterwards. But, again, play the clip again. Play the clip again of Mr. Fahrenheit, because it just cannot be stated
Main
enough.
focus on the conservatives. They need to go. They all need to go. Every single one of them.
Yep. Cringe Walker, once again, admin withholding unemployment rate this month really filling me with confidence in this economy. Yeah, really. Yeah, it's just, no, I don't care how many times you slice it, how many times you tell me that the 401ks are doing great and the stock market's at an all-time high, it just honestly fuels me with so much boomer hatred every time I see one of those things. It's like, it doesn't matter. They're all fake metrics for what the economy actually is. And what the economy actually is your young people can't afford a home and start families. It's the most important thing, and they can't do it. Pete Budapest for $5. Hey, Ben, maybe Jerusalem just isn't meant for you to live in. Maybe you should look to live somewhere else. Oh, wait, my bad.
Every single time.
Thank you, Mr. Katarlson. Thank you very much. Now, honestly, like, if anyone, you guys know, like, the same stuff, like the boomer insults are just particularly bad, man. They're just like just like Democrats and Katarlson, very, very weak sauce. Skibum 224, $50 tonight. Thank you very much, sir. We greatly appreciate that. He says, what an infuriating couple of months. There's a very large Charlie Kirk shaped hole in the right. Who is going to replace him? Salute to the OGC. Yeah, it's very true. It's a huge, huge hole.
Real Americans.
Real Americans, indeed. I mean, it's sad to say that I think that was a giant, Charlie-sized hole that a lot of us didn't realize until he was gone. So, to our eternal shame. Moving on to Pete Budapest again. Thank you again tonight, guys, for all the super chats. You guys are really piling it on for us, so thank you very much. He says for another $10. Not to get all elite theory, but I feel like Project Trump was always an uphill battle. Hard to overstate how little elite support heritage white Christian Americans have. Basically non-existent. I mean, very true. We got Tucker Carlson, so everyone continue to pay attention what he's doing. I gotta say, I'm particularly enjoying his return to the monologue form on Wednesday nights. I recommend everybody be watching those because every one of them is just straight facts and he's just spitting fire. Tucker's doing a fantastic job.
The Wednesday night shows are excellent.
Oh yes. Let's move on to James S. If Trump was 1/10 the authoritarian the left says he is, he could crush the communist revolution and prevent the catastrophic misery we will endure. And after that, if we are lucky, the American Franco. I mean, again, it's very true. Just be like 1/10 of the Republican the Democrats accuse you of being. It's just because it's just all projection for them. They just tell us blatantly and out in the open of what they're going to do. It's just Republicans just have no balls, man. They really don't. Keep them 220 for another $5. Most of my coworkers have sports betting apps on their phones. It makes me so sad. Oh yeah, yep, I see it. Almost everybody's got them. You go over to like a friend's house and you're watching like NFL Sunday, right? And almost everybody there who's sitting on the couch has got one of these and is doing the sports betting stuff. It is really, really dark, man. Very bleak. And then like you see the commercials as well when you're watching like the sports games, and almost all of them are the sports betting stuff, and they've got all these schemes. It's like, oh, your first bet for $100 is absolutely free if you get on the app right now. These people are making so much money off of this. They could afford to, the second you get on the app, give you $100 for your first bet. Nuts. Machiavelli sucks. Being white is great. For $5. Ask how all these female nail shops afford their equipment. Yeah. Well, in their defense, I mean, have you seen how much they charge women to get their nails and their hair done? It's just, what? I think it's just a complete inside job, just so women can feel proud of themselves and have a one-up over the other women. There's no way some of these hair appointments cost a couple $100. Get out of here. It's not how much that labor and that product costs. It's just so they can, flex on the other women who aren't getting their hair appointments. Pete Budapest for $2. Many are saying Vivek should be in jail. Yeah, it's obviously true. Cringewalker says, did my Carthage chat get missed? Oh, I saw it go by in the chat earlier. I don't think it's on the. I think I might have missed it on the list though. We'll find it, Cringy. We'll find it. Wait, here we go. Funny enough, after the Second Punic War, the Romans imposed a punitive 50-year mortgage on the city of Carthage for 10,000 silver talents, 250 million in USD. Can't help but suspect it's generational vengeance. No, come on, Cringy. This group, generational vengeance? Come on. No.
Every single time.
Alrighty, and the final super chat, and then we're going to tackle the rest of these stories really quick. They were really piling up tonight, guys. Thank you very much. We really, really appreciate it over here. Vatican banker for $5. Criollos, 100% European Latin Americans, have been minorities in their countries for centuries, yet have maintained full political, cultural, and economic power. The American Anglo has much to learn from them, including the art of thriving in cities. Well, I'll take your word for it on that one. So, all right. Let's buckle up. Let's do it. We were avoiding it all stream, but we just have to. So in wake of President Trump, his terrible appearance on Laura Ingraham, the awful response from the administration on how we're going to deal with the housing crisis and the inflation and just average Americans being in debt, we had to really just take an entire can of gasoline and jump right into the fire with this one, because President Trump, in his infinite wisdom today, decided that, who he's going to go to bat for? The leader of a foreign country that has thrown him under the bus time and time and time again. So here we have a letter from President Trump, official from the White House, to His Excellency Isaac Herzog, the president of the state of Israel, begging him to pardon Benjamin Netanyahu.
From the river to the sea, Israel backstabbed me.
I'm not even going to read this. I'm just going to get too angry, because just no man, United States of America, with 10,000 plus nuclear weapons, the strongest country in the history of the world, the richest country in the history of the world, the most powerful man on the planet, President of the United States, is begging on his hands and knees to another foreign power to pardon somebody in their country. This is just completely unheard of. Has a United States president ever debased themselves before in such a way like this? Getting involved in another nation's politics like this? This is just crazy, man. And this is why I will never, ever give an inch to all these fucking liars like these Joel Berrys and the Seth Dillons of the world and the James Lindsays and all these other fucking losers who are saying, oh, why are you guys so obsessed with Israel and so obsessed with Jews? It's like, this is unhealthy. This is unnatural. This kind of behavior is unbecoming of any masculine man whatsoever, let alone the most powerful man on the planet. What the fuck are you talking about that I'm obsessed with this country or something? It's like, no, you people are. This is ridiculous. This is fucking absurd. Everyone sees this as a joke. What are we doing?
I mean, the Babylon Bee has been putting out headlines just making fun of people who they say are obsessed with Israel. I mean, first of all, Ted Cruz literally went on Tucker Carlson's show and said he got elected to Congress. He got elected to the Senate in order to be Israel's greatest defender. And in the same interview, when he was questioned on that, he asked Tucker why he was obsessed with Israel. I'm sorry, who the fuck is obsessed with Israel? You just said you got elected to do this. James Lindsay just went and kissed the wall. Seth Dillon is making the rounds, and he looks, he's like, I'm convinced they have him. There's a picture of him with a kid attached to. I mean, he looks like a hostage, and he's just going there, and they're all doing this. And why the fuck would you do this for people who are not yours? Now, I heard Seth Dillon has admitted that he is Jewish, ethnically Jewish, so that makes sense. Why is James Lindsay doing this? Why is everybody else? All of this money is being poured into this. Anyone who wants to go on Facebook can see the $7,000 posts are just one after another, after another. Look, they have power. They're going to have power for a while, but it's pretty obvious that they're panicking. This is the one problem. See, normally, for those who believe in elite theory, you need elites to change things. And normally, you know that elites are going to change things. You know that when one set of elites is going to replace another set of elites, when they just get sick and tired of the way things are, there's going to be a civil war. But with this, and you can see this in our reading of 200 Years Together, normal people start noticing. They did it in Russia. They did it all throughout Europe. They did it all throughout the 109, 110, 111, 112, however many countries it's been now. And that's why they're panicking so much. They know their history. It's not only the elites who are like, we don't want to deal with these people anymore. Normal people start to notice and start to grumble. You think the pogroms, the quote unquote pogroms, were directed by elites? Read Solzhenitsyn. They weren't. It was people figuring out, these are the ones who are enslaving us with usury. These are the ones who are feeding us, this. Where did all this alcohol come from? Where did these inns with prostitutes come from? Where did all of this come from? I mean, when the people now, are the people in this country going to commit violence against them? No, I don't think so. I don't think they have it in them. They'll stop doing business with them. They'll be vocal about it. And I mean, it's, how can you look at this letter and think you have a country? We know who is in power at the moment. Yeah, and I released an episode today. It's one of the first episodes I've done in a while where it's just me talking. And my question was, everybody wants to talk about, throw this in our face. If you're a Christian, Book of Genesis says those who bless Israel are blessed. Those who curse Israel are cursed. We've been blessing Israel since 1948. Can I see some fucking blessings? Where are the fucking blessings? So either the Bible is full of shit, or it doesn't mean that you have to bless Benjamin Netanyahu and Jeffrey Epstein and the spy, Jonathan, whatever the fuck his name was. Yair Gallant, Laura Loomer, all these fuckers. Josh Hammer. Wait, you think you have to bless them? Where are the fucking blessings?
It's just so ridiculous coming from all these Christian voices, because the whole point of the New Testament is Jesus saying that Israel is the people, it is the church. It's not the actual, tiny ass little country that's had its borders changed, for thousands of years and had different rulers going over it. It's like, also, like, where is the line of David right now, like currently in charge of Israel, by the way, as well? So it's like, even by that argument, how could you possibly say that this, tiny ass little country has anything to do with that? It's just, none of it makes sense at all.
You're not a Jew unless you are sacrificing in the temple. Thomas is right. There are no Jews. Without sacrifice, without expiation of sin, you're not a Jew. So all of these people are just land thieves, parasites upon foreign countries, terrorists. As Menachem Begin said, we brought terrorism not only to the Middle East, we brought it to the world. What? And I'm supposed to bless them? Let me ask a question here. How many kids do they have to fuck before Jesus comes back? Huh?
It's just, even just, again, like throwing all the dispensationalist nonsense and all the evangelical stuff out the window for a second. It's just, this is just so unbecoming of a man. It's like, how does a man behave this way? Is the thing I keep coming back to. It's like, just look at the language in here. Stuff. It's like, stood tall for Israel in the face of strong adversaries and long odds, and his attention cannot be unnecessarily diverted. It's like, what is this, a fucking love letter? Unbelievable, man. Oh, you guys are just so obsessed with this, Israel situation, man. Name me one other country on the entire planet that could boss around the United States of America, a country that has enough nukes to level the entire planet down to its last atom. What other country could possibly get this kind of response from the President of the United States?
How many prisoners do they have to anally rape on film, before the blessings start flowing? Don't we have to bless that if we want to be blessed? I mean, seriously, they just arrested the woman who released that video. The video of the Palestinian prisoner being raped. They just arrested the woman who was like, I can't take this anymore. This is insane. This is not who we are. This is not what civilized people do. They fucking arrested her. Just keep blessing them. I mean, if these are the blessings, please show me I don't want to see the fucking curses.
This is the country also that was at the outset hostile to us upon its creation. Like, this is how does the reasoning hold up then? Like, if Israel's against us, we just roll over and take it. Like, is that how it works? You bless them, but if they decide to go against you, you just surrender. Is that the idea? Because then I wonder why didn't we? Why fight this Cold War against international communism and socialism, but also we're never going to write in any history book or whatever else, like who actually founded Israel, who the parties were, who they sabotaged, spied against, which side they were on. We're just going to ignore that. It's the foundational myth for the exact same people that always cite this stupid verse. So it's another piece of history that gets selectively suppressed.
The only white pill we can have out of this is that, like we were saying earlier, is these people see that the writing is on the wall for people like them. Well, the youth are not moving on this issue. Your golems on the left have completely turned on you because you've indoctrinated all of them to see Israel as a white oppressor, colonialist power. And the people on the right are just absolutely done with seeing their country being used for absolutely everything except being used to actually forward the interests of their own people. Everything that clear. Americans are forced to tackle with, the humiliation, the inflation, the drugs at home, the endless wars, the mass migration, the ethnic replacement of our own people, the destruction of our faith, of our traditions, of our history, all of that has to take second banana to this. And we're just done with it. And our minds will never be changed on this issue. It is too far gone. This is like literally one step removed from literally sucking people's dicks.
Curse just tweeted, only about 1% of spiders are harmful to humans, yet we quickly eject them from our homes when we see them. This post is not about spiders.
Any final comments on this, Ryan?
It's pretty clear it's a boomer issue, and it's another point where the boomers are content to just sell everything out, spite the youth and whatever else, just to have their last hurrah. They're the only constituency that actually cares about this in a positive manner. So
yeah,
main focus on the conservatives. They need to go. They all need to go. Every single one of them.
You know, the only other final thing I will say on this one is, where's all the planned truthsters on this one and all those people who were saying, oh, like with Jews you win and all that stuff. I heard that was a very popular talking point amongst all these characters for a while. Where's that now, guys? Huh? This is just so unbelievable to me again. This is like how I imagine, you know, like the Gauls must have come to Caesar, you know, after he just completely destroyed them when he was conquering ancient France. No, this is like the sign of like someone who's just been absolutely defeated, coming forth and begging for mercy, basically. This is the kind of behavior you get from people. I imagine this might be how like the people were treating like with the Mongols when the hordes were coming towards them, just begging, please don't lay waste to my village and my people. Fucking the country the size of New Jersey with 9 million people, zero strategic resources, zero strategic interest whatsoever. Just a completely insignificant speck of sand in the middle of a giant fucking desert. And we have to give endless amounts of support, endless amounts of money, endless amounts of weapons, endless amounts of airtime. It's just such a fucking joke. And then people have the audacity to tell people like us, oh, why are you guys so obsessed about Israel? Aren't you guys little lunatics? Done with this story. Moving on. Brian, you're going to take the reins from here on this one, because this is the next story we're going to be talking about from the Intercollegiate Studies Institute, ISI. So what's going on here, Ryan, and why should we care?
So as you can see on the text, or on the screen right now, that's a wall of text. We aren't reading all of that. I'm just going to condense it down to the part that matters. This was like a Buckleyite conservative talking about how terrible things were at ISI because the Buckleyites were being forced out by the post-liberal groups, sort of clustered around Deneen and Burtka. So a bunch of our people who probably have only ever come across this from the outside just looked at it and saw that like Buckleyites were getting forced out. That's based. That's good. The people forcing them out are good too. But that's not necessarily a correct assumption. So if you like come across this institution, which for most people in the OGC and listening to us, you probably haven't either directly interacted with it, or if you have, it's like the conservative group full of conservatives. So you know that tells you all you need to know. We don't really need to like join this fight, but since so many people have, like I saw a bunch of guys donating money to ISI that were in our spheres, a very nice sum of money to this group because they forced out the conservatives and whatnot. I figured we should just like take a brief time to analyze who is forcing out these Buckleyites. If anyone in the audience listened in to American Spirits for this week and last week, they would know that I have nothing but a burning contempt for Buckley and his movement, and I imagine that the rest of the OGC leadership would be unanimous in that. I would be very shocked to find much deviation there. But the side forcing out these Buckleyites is not necessarily good. Like if you look at Patrick Deneen, during the Biden administration, if you can remember just how totally bleak it was, Patrick Deneen was saying that like the biggest problem facing America was tyrannophobia. like this unwarranted fear of tyranny. We needed to accept more of what we typically call tyranny, and the country might start improving. This was not in, or at least as far as I could tell, this wasn't in preparation of a Trump admin. Uh, ISI, especially before the GOP coalesced around Trump again, ISI tended to be slated towards DeSantis with the sort of minority backing Trump, at least among the students. So this is during the Biden admin. Patrick Deneen wrote his very famous book, Why Liberalism Failed. He's a post-liberal. As many of the post-liberals will tell you, that doesn't actually mean much. It just means that you're not an American liberal. Which is why you can have a former president like Barack Obama endorsing his book. It's why Deneen can go and call for like LBJ's policies on steroids with a like Roman Catholic multiracial working class coalition. This is what's being pushed. This is what forced out the Buckleyites. I am very happy that the Buckleyites are being destroyed at seemingly every turn now. I think that everyone should be very cautious supporting the people going against them. I do not think, especially that heritage Americans, should be supporting someone like Patrick Deneen. In fact, by all indications, it seems that most post-liberals, the ones that call themselves that, the Deneen types especially, just want to liquidate and destroy heritage America, but in a different way than the current regimes are doing. They love to talk about how they want to just completely demographically shift the U.S. towards this very strange view of Roman Catholicism that they have that doesn't seem to be entirely shared by the rest of the Roman Church. They talk about how we need to completely destroy any and all concepts of liberty and freedom. And that's not an exaggeration. That's not me, the libertarian, being exaggerative. If I recall correctly, Deneen was talking about how liberty should not be viewed in a positive light. There are many abuses, of course, of liberty in the modern day. But if you know anything about American history, like the history of heritage Americans, your history, you would know how absurd and hostile it is to say that liberty and all of its concepts is an enemy. This is an extremely Anglo concept that's being targeted here, and that's not an accident. So that's the overview. You can read this that's on the screen. Quite frankly, this is not important. The most important part was a whole bunch of people gathering around this sort of post-liberal resurgence and somehow thinking that it's good. I guess if you don't care about heritage Americans or heritage America, this could be good. I wouldn't know though, because that's not me, and I don't think like that, and I haven't even tried to think like that. So that was most of what I wanted to go through. Hopefully that's clear or makes some sort of sense.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty exhaustive report for everyone on all of us. I mean, all this infighting in all these organizations, all these, Con Inc. institutions isn't going away anytime soon. So at the very least, it'll be interesting to see what all the developments are. Maybe in some places, some people who are more aligned to us will be taking these things over. Maybe in some cases, it'll be whack jobs. Maybe in some cases, it'll be people who, are enemies of our enemies, but that doesn't necessarily make them our friends. Who the hell knows? But I will agree with you, Ryan, in saying that I'm glad the Buckleyites are getting theirs. At least I could find some consolation in that.
There is justice somewhere.
All of these people, I think heritage is mentioned in here. They basically, what I think they're doing right now is they're doing their own version of looting the treasury. They know their days are numbered. They know that when the boomers die off, Gen X is, we were raised nihilist. We don't care about them. Gen Z and the millennials aren't going to have anything for them because they've made sure, Conservative Inc. has made sure that they're broke. So they either go the way of, being obsolete and disappearing, or, as we saw when Urim Hazoni had to fly all the way from Israel to talk to Kevin Roberts, because Kevin Roberts had lost the plot about how heritage has to be pro-Jewish, and not only pro-Jewish, but needs to go after anti-Semitism. Urim Hazoni had to fly here to help him, the same kind of language that Michael used in Godfather 2 about Frank Pantangeli and them flying his brother in for him. I mean, the parallels are ridiculous. They know that they're either going to go away, or they're just going to have to completely rely upon Jewish money to exist after the boomers are gone. As far as I'm concerned, heritage is not an American. I mean, there's nothing heritage about them, unless heritage goes back to 1948 in a foreign country. These people are just, the founders wrote that we had enemies, foreign and domestic. I don't think they could have ever guessed that a lot of those enemies were going to be foreign, but they were going to be domestic too. We were going to have to deal with domestic foreign enemies, because we can't say, no, you can't come here. You're not like us.
Indeed. Let's tackle these super chats, guys, and get out of here. It's been a particularly depressing stream, to say the least. There's been no good stories tonight, not a single one. Man.
It's been, I mean, for those of us who went to the Pacific Northwest event, we had a great last 7 days. At least a bunch of those days were great.
Yeah, it's fair.
As long as we weren't paying attention to what the hell was going on. Because, I mean, as far as, the political arena goes, and Twitter and this government and this regime, they couldn't make it any more clear that they hate us. I mean, I'm sorry. That's what Donald Trump made it sound like. He hates us. So what do? I don't know. I don't want to believe that. But, that letter, I appreciate him pardoning the J6ers, and, especially since they weren't rappers, they weren't black rappers, who that's pretty much who he only pardons. But when it comes down to it, I don't think he would write a letter like that for an American. Who maybe I don't even see him, an American, being held hostage overseas, going out of his way to bring them home. No, it just seems like he has one focus at this point. And like I said, I would have been perfectly happy if he would have just been as philo-Semitic, is that the proper term? Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. As he was in the first term, his first term. But no, seems like in 10 months, he's heaped blessing upon blessing upon blessing upon blessing upon blessing upon a foreign country. And I'm happy that the border is closed. Still waiting for them deportations.
Well, Mark Levin is signing up any day to go and go work on the border with all those ICE agents. That's the war we're getting for all this Israel simping, right? Let's get through these super chats, guys, and get out of here. Cringe Walker once again sends us $5. The Israel-U.S. dynamic really violates the Monroe Doctrine, but nobody talks about it. Oh, yep, that's obviously true. one of America's oldest foreign policy doctrines that we've had from almost the beginning, and yep, flies right in the face of it. Especially when they are trying to invoke it just today to go and get involved with Venezuela. But yeah.
And American Spirits will be covering the Monroe Doctrine and its various interpretations this next Monday, which you should tune in for. It's much more complicated than just the U.S. will defend the Western Hemisphere. There's more to it.
Well, there you go. Ryan and Charlie are doing some excellent stuff on American Spirits, so everybody should be listening in. Mikey sends us $2. Putting on the funny hat changes a man, I hear. Yeah, not for the better.
Every single time.
Yeah, that's a known anti-Semite talking right there. Yeah, really, really hateful guy. Pete Budapest for $10. If I had to sum up 2025 in one word, it would be acceleration. I thought it would be defined by chaos, but I underestimated how much other factions were willing to go all in. There's certainly a lot to be said.
Well, definitely the acceleration on the people noticing our greatest ally is. I mean, we're talking about warp speed at this point.
Yeah, there's definitely that, and then there's also the acceleration of just violence against right wingers, and it's only going to get worse. Not Grim for $2. Elite Theory for the Plebs. Blood Satellite. All right, now we'll go tune in over there. Airmake Discourse for $5. I prefer the term Pharisee for these people. More accurate, in my opinion. Yeah, I guess it's fair. Pete Budapest for $5. How grim is Trump 2.0 going? Well, Nikki Haley this week said that Trump's plan on bringing in more foreign students and H-1Bs might be a tad bit too far. Yeah, I mean, well, everybody else. Here's the other thing too: is like everybody can see that the base is divided over this and is riled up about this, and people smell blood in the water, and it kind of just shows you who are the actual like cunning politicians and who are the ones that have their thumbs up their ass. You know, it's like I have no love for Nikki Haley. I have no love for this Democratic governor in Ohio, or Democrat candidate in Ohio, I should say, or all these other politicians who've been flanking Trump to the right on this. But well, it just goes to show you.
Well, you know, I remember when people would call Trump a fascist and a Nazi and everything, and some people would go, "Oh, come on, he's just a Democrat from Queens. He didn't really have to go and prove that to us."
Yeah. Hunter Counts for $20. Thank you very much, sir. I see another angle to the Netanyahu pardon. He has kept Israel in constant war in part because it's the only way he stays out of prison. That's obviously true. A promise of a pardon coupled with some applied pressure could be enough to get him to step down, be replaced, hopefully with someone more sensible. Still churns my stomach, though. Why are we playing like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon here on with this at this point, man? It's like this is just fucking ridiculous. You don't
hardliners. It's the hardliners that are waiting for him to leave so that they can continue their Eretz Israel project. There are people who are like, Netanyahu's just not going far enough, and those are the people waiting to take over.
It's just like people just need to get it through their thick heads, man. It's like we are on our own. We are Americans for an American nation. Only us is all we need, and we're all we have. This nonsense of like, like with Jews you win stuff just needs to be entirely rejected outright. Just look at this fucking behavior, man. It's like, even if they were going to magically help us or something and get us out of all these problems by associating with Israel and these people, it's like, is it worth the cost of our souls at this point to be doing this kind of behavior, which isn't going to get us what we want anyway? I mean, I said it before and I'll say it again. That letter right there is just literally one step away from literally just getting on your hands and knees and sucking his cock. It's just totally unacceptable behavior for people to be having. Just like, have some fucking dignity and some backbone for the United States of America. fucking act like it. Everybody else just bosses us the fuck around. It's like that tweet earlier. It's like, oh yeah, we think we're really respected and revered on the world stage. It's like, get a fucking break, dude. Everyone's laughing at us. Everyone thinks we're rubes, absolute idiots. We pay every single Tom, Dick, and Harry who steps on foot of this country, aside from our own fucking people. We're getting dragged around by a country the size of New Jersey to go fight all of their wars for them. This country's a fucking joke, man. Jeremy Kearns for $5. What is up, my piggas? P. Budapest for $10. America in 2025 resembles that scene in Mars Attacks with the availing aliens chasing people with a faulty translation machine saying, "Don't run, we're your friends."
I gotta go back and watch that movie. I remember really liking that movie when it came out.
Blood Base sends us $20. Thank you very much. Jeremy Kearns for the $10. Trying to start a OGC chapter in Arizona. Is there anyone I can get in contact with? There is. Send us an email over at OGC or illgloryclub@gmail.com. We'll put you in contact with people. And again, for $5, he says, I really want to throw clipped quarters at Dave Portnoy right now. Who's going to join me? Yep. Well, that's it for the super chats. Oh, well, we got one more coming in right at the wire. Not Grim for $5. Despite the bleakness of the situation, I hope this lets us know that we're all we've got. We've got each other, and that's something that counts. Hell yeah. And listen here, we've done a lot of, we tackled some very hard-hitting stories here tonight, all right? But again, it's very important to remember is that not only are we all we have, but more importantly, we're all that we need, man. It's like Americans are the best, most ingenious, most kind, most hardworking people on the entire planet. We are all we need. We don't need anybody else. We don't need other countries. We don't need other people's labor. We don't need other people's talent. We have us. And all we need is just to cast off these parasites and grifters and liars and cheats from our politics and get a hold on our own nation, and we will thrive and we will prosper, and everyone else can get fucked. Pete, what do you got going on this week?
I just dropped episode 1292 called Where Are the Blessings? It's my own version of a fireside chat. So go listen to me rant and ask a lot of questions for about 60 minutes. So, yeah, that's about it. Join the OGC, of course.
Here. Mr. Turnipseed, thank you for coming on the show tonight, my friend. What do you have to promote, sir?
Well, every Monday at the same time that Pony Express starts, be 7 Central or 8 Eastern, we host American Spirits, Charlie and I do, where we try to go through the history of Heritage America, political theories that we need to understand things, and I'm sure pretty soon we'll be talking about actually applying some of it, or even some of the more philosophical aspects. But the important points is that 2 weeks ago from this Monday, and in fact, our other co-panelist here, Pete, was on for this. It was American Spirits on Murray Rothbard's Betrayal of the American Right. We had Tom Woods on just a few days ago on Monday. It was me, Stephen Carson, and Mr. Auberon Quinn going over Pat Buchanan's very famous and frankly a seminal article at this point for how good it is. Whose War? Talking about whose interests.
That's an excellent episode, man. That was a really good episode.
Thank you. I felt perhaps the best on it, so it's my own personal favorite. But everyone in the chat right now, or everyone rather watching the stream, should probably go and watch it, because we go through the entirety of the article, and it's just a wealth of information from Pat Buchanan. So, national hero. This next Monday, we'll be going over the Monroe Doctrine, which, like the last 2 episodes, we have had all of this planned like a month in advance, and just like the week before we go live, the topic comes up, and popular discourse. So if you want to know about the Monroe Doctrine, like what did Monroe actually say in his address to Congress, how was it reinterpreted by President Polk, how was it then further reinterpreted after the Civil War, that's what you want to go listen to, because, and I'll give you this free before the stream. The Monroe Doctrine does not say like that the United States just gets to rule and police the entire Western Hemisphere. If you just read it strictly, it's not a guarantee that American men, money, and all that we hold dear goes towards defending Latin America or something like that. So that's what we have in American Spirits. Make sure to keep watching it. We put a lot of work into it. It's very based on the text. So if you want something higher end in your podcast, of course you would have a Peach Show, which is fantastic as well, but also American Spirits. Go and make sure to listen to that.
Alrighty, yes. So I enjoyed that Tom Woods episode. It was fantastic. Everyone, be sure to check out American Spirits. For myself, on next Wednesday, I will be appearing on the Green Tavern with the Nathaniel Green Society. So everyone, be sure to tune into that. That's going to be next Wednesday. And then in the future as well, there are talks for me doing some more shows with friends of ours. Kyle Matovic and I are due for a stream coming up pretty soon, so be on the lookout for that. And also, I might be resuming my Sunday gaming on my channel. Just something for me to do for a couple of hours on a Sunday. So take a look at that. And we will be back here next week for another episode of Pony Express Radio. We'll see you guys then.
When I pass on my good genes to my sons, they're going to join the Old Glory Club.